What is up, Isaac? How are you, sir?
I'm good. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday. We missed last week. Last week was Labor Day holiday, and I was actually traveling back from Florida and stuff, and so we missed last week.
We were
So
playing all the games.
we
So
were playing games. So
yeah,
I actually played a couple good games. Introduced I was visiting my parents down in Florida, and so introduced my mom to Cape May. I thought it
okay.
might be a little tougher. She actually dives into some of those games from time to time with us, and she loved it. Like she really loved it, and so I think I may have converted her into Cape fan of Cape May. So we might be playing that around the holidays this year. So
Perfect.
nice. So let me introduce our guest for tonight. We have designer Danny Devine on the show. Danny, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Danny, I actually got to know you because of a game that we're going to talk about later in the show when we talk about roll and rights. And I'll share how we got connected through Twitter and through a photograph a couple years ago. So if you remember.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
It is very serious.
Yes, I try to some mystery so people hang in there for the 45
Yeah,
to 50 minutes that the show, so
You always have such unique meetups with people. I'm like, I just said hi at a convention. That's where we met.
yeah.
But you're like with Nathan, you're like, oh, we met, in this beautiful
against
setup.
against a column at Origins after an exhausting day.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
I've
It's
weird
good.
stories. So anyway, thanks for everybody joining us. We're going to be talking about roll and rights tonight. So if you want to jump in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or any other platform, jump in the chat with us and share the roll and write love as we get into our lists later in the show. You've got a starting question for us, Isaac. What is it? Oh, hold it. First, let's take a spooky season is coming break. Got my custom Michael Myers cup that my brother had made for me at Christmas. It's amazing. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
nothing
custom
screams
design
Christmas like Michael Myers.
Exactly. So anyway, go for
Is
the question.
the zipper built into the side of the cup? Is that a physical zipper?
100%. Let me see if
That's rad.
yeah. This is a urethane like coating over it, and that is a legit zipper. This is completely custom made by a lady that my brother knows that makes custom design mugs. So
That's
she actually
cool.
printed, got some really cool if you notice that article, that little advertisement right there from Halloween 3.
From 3,
Yep. So anyway,
Very
lots of cool stuff on this.
Very cool.
I love October and spooky season.
Yes.
Should have had him on for spooky season.
You see my posters here, this corner here that I can't show you. This is where I got my dog soldiers and my Army of Darkness and aliens and stuff is up on the wall over there.
Nice. That's awesome.
So our opening question, we're going to be talking about roll and rights or flip and rights, but that type of theme game. But to go with that theme, our opening question has nothing to do with that. Instead, I wanted to ask, what is everybody's favorite meeple color to use and why? So what do you set your BGA preference to? What do you grab first if you have the opportunity? Favorite meeple or game component color?
So Danny, what you got?
Green. So since high school, I've been really into green. I think it's because I was really into wrestling at the time, specifically Triple H and Degeneration X. So that black and green color scheme, and then Typo Negative, that one of my favorite bands. They're black and green. So that's actually my setting preference. Is I go green, then black, and then after that I'll not be picky, but.
Very cool. Edward Taylor King, same thing, green all the way. So very cool. I'm going to go yellow, and it was very methodical why I started choosing yellow. It was actually because of Ticket to Ride. I found that the player that has the yellow tokens, the yellow trains blended in with the background of Ticket to Ride because it's all like tan color. And so yellow was very unassuming. Every time I picked yellow, I would win longest route because nobody thought I was competitive. It just kind of blends in with the map. And so from probably 15 years, I've been choosing yellow because of that reason.
Good to know. We got Hank in here. Hank's going go blue. U of M. Okay. I do like blue. I think if I was picking something just based on color preference, I would choose blue or purple. But when I first got into board gaming, like hobby board gaming, I was entering every Twitter, Facebook contest to win free games that I could find. And the biggest one I did was for Carcassonne Big Box, and it was from Z-Man, right? That's who's publishing that, I believe, at the time. And they said, put on here your favorite color to use in Carcassonne and why. Tell us a great story behind it. So I wrote the story from the yellow meeple point of view, like a couple paragraphs on like how he's nobody picks him and he's sad, and how I came in and just brought him to me. And I think a lot of people end up picking your strategic yellow is the first I ever heard. I think a lot of people pick it because it's like it's the thing that's left on the table.
It's the leftover color. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just after winning that box, I was like, oh, yellow's my thing. And people know that. People throw me the yellow as soon as we open the box, and I am 100% cool with that until I sit across from somebody who's like, oh, I like yellow. I'm like, what? No one likes yellow. but I'm happy to
the
play
hard part because yellow's normally left over. It's funny, Aaron, for a couple of years, Aaron would actually pick on me in front of our guests. We would have people at the table and she'd be like, yeah, he picks yellow because he's chicken. I'm like, what?
Aaron,
she's bringing it. So
Aaron continues to be my favorite of the two of you.
Hey, mine too.
I actually end up playing yellow quite a bit because my youngest son, he's just turned 7, so I'm getting him into more and more games.
Nice.
His favorite color is also green, and because I'm not gonna discourage him and bully him and say that's Dad's color. I'm like, no, you take green, that's fine.
Yeah, you're not gonna smack him down and be like,
no, you cannot play. Yeah, no. So I take yellow quite a bit actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're talking about rolling rights and flipping rights, and so let's talk about remote gaming. This is one of the ways that rolling rights and flipping rights they transfer to a digital platform or through gaming online or through like webcam pretty easily. I mean, during the pandemic, there was a night that we got a couple people together. We just straight played Yahtzee. I sent everybody a digital pad on their phones, and we played Yahtzee over webcam like the first month of the pandemic. So, I mean, it's definitely a way to play games. So what kind of games, how much did you play these kinds of games during the pandemic?
Oh, the pandemic changed completely the way I play games. So not only do I do, Board Game Arena and Yukata and stuff like that, but a tabletop simulator became like my main way to like prototype games now. So I played a lot of stuff on there and met up with other designers and things like that. I will say tabletop simulator is the absolute worst way to play a roll and write or flip and write because their writing tools feel like you're writing with a hot dog is what I compare it to. It never feels good. But they are definitely fun. Like if you have a physical sheet, like you said, like because so many of these games are, any number of people can play them. You just have one person that flips the cards or rolls the dice, and everyone gets to mark on their sheets. It does do really well for playing remotely or but they are definitely fun.
I hear an echo. Is that one of us? Anyway,
not here.
Okay. So BGA, like you mentioned, BGA became our best friend during the pandemic. I mean, there were times when Aaron and I were exhausted just from converted to working online and for both of our jobs for a period of time. And it was, we would get off of work and we would just be exhausted, cook dinner, all that stuff. We didn't want to set up a game on the table. And so we jumped into BGA and we would just sit there and play games, sitting next to each other in the bed at the end of the night. And games like Boomerang, which is a roll and write. I found out about Boomerang through BGA and loved it. Fell in love with that game. So
good way to find them.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a few friends that even just local friends that we wanted to get together with that no one was really quite comfortable. And we tried some bigger games on the table. Heck, one night my wife and I were like, all right, let's try it. We had another couple that want to do it. We both set up Orleans on our tables with the camera and played
Interesting.
like
Oh,
mirrored
wow.
versions, like, okay, flip this. Okay, I'm taking this spot, I'm taking that spot. Because other than the going around and claiming the cities, a lot of it was self-contained on your own board and flipping games, and
Yeah.
so it worked. I mean, it was a trudge, but it let us hang
Yeah,
out
it
with
probably
some
took you like
friends.
4 hours to get through, but
Oh, it was so
yeah.
long. But then we started looking at like, okay, well, we can play all these other games, and I started seeing companies saying, hey, here's our, I remember, I think one of the first ones was Welcome to, right? That was like, hey, here's our sheet, go download it, please go download it, please play it online,
absolutely.
and find ways to have that, even to the point now that there are games that have instructions, which it'll be one of my what I'm playing now, that it shows like, hey, this is how you can play this via Zoom. So there's a response to like, this is still a real thing for some people to
Yeah.
not only because of COVID or other issues, but also because like maybe I want to play with my friends that live halfway across the country or world. So it's given us some cool opportunities, including BGA, TTS.
Yep. It's so interesting. Companies that marketed toward that Zoom, kind of that time period where Zoom and being on a webcam was the majority of life. I went into an Ollie's because there were some posts about people saying, "Hey, this game's showing up at Ollie's for like $10 or whatever." So I went up to my local Ollie's, and they had some decent stuff. Nothing crazy that I was going to spend money on. And then I looked over, I was walking out, and they had this display, and I guess it's last year or the year before's costumes, probably last year. It was a Super Mario themed box of costumes that fit a child, and it was child and 2 adult costumes. And it was like basically have a costume party at your house. And it was people dressed up as the Mario Brothers and Princess Peach with a webcam sitting on their dining room table. And that's how they were going to spend Halloween. And I was like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 25 years from now, will this box make as much sense? Like, will we look at this box and be like, what was happening
I hope it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
It would be awful. It'd be awful if it did make sense. Like if
there's a generation of teenagers that that went through this during high school that like I could see them like go, oh, retro, like, Dad, it's it's 2019 theme, like our kids are doing 90s theme stuff, right? Like 2019, do you have a mask I could borrow to wear to school today, right? Like something along that line. So
so what's the next topic?
Our next topic is holding. Okay, so we were talking about flipping rights, rolling rights. What makes a game not so good when it comes to a roll or flipping right? So not necessarily this is a bad game, but what is it about? Like some of them, they just like they click and you're like, yes, I love this game. And I've also played some that I'm like, no, I don't want to play this ever again. I can I literally can think of 2 right off the top of my head that I don't want to name specifically, but like what makes a game not work? Like what are some things you want to avoid in rolling rights?
I'll just say from like a design perspective, I think more than any other genre, I think graphic design and user interface are super important for roll and writes. There's just so much information in front of you that, like, I mean, most of the really popular ones are pretty. They're also pretty, but more than that, they're super functional. And I think that some of the ones I've played that are rougher are ones where they focus too hard on making it look as beautiful as you would like a full Kickstarter box, right? And it's stuff that gets in your way,
right?
Because there's just so much information to keep track of, especially on some of these more complicated ones that I'm sure we'll talk about later. It just need really specific graphic design in order for the player to even understand what they're doing and where they're supposed to be writing things, right?
Yeah. I think a good example of that, I backed Aquamarine, which is talked about this on the last podcast 3 weeks ago. Aquamarine is a roll and write where players are diving down and they're discovering things underneath the ocean. It's a 24-hour timer, so there's 24 rolls in a game, and you have 3 different dives that you can make, each that has air tanks associated with them. And one of the things that I didn't realize, there was a checkbox system for bonuses for finding shipwrecks up at the top of above the map. Well, I was like, it kind of doesn't make sense there, but the bottom below the map is completely filled. Well, in the final version, they remapped all that stuff and they pulled it down. It makes a world of difference. It was such a little thing, but it was like, oh man, this feels good.
Difference.
Like everything is where it should be. I can easily see what I've gotten, what I haven't gotten. I mean, it's really, really good. So, yeah. So, yep. Chad is in the house. So what's up, Chad? So
every week we wear Ryan and I wear our 25th century hats, like literally.
I didn't wear mine this week on purpose.
I went and grabbed my Venom one. Hi, Aaron.
Aaron's
because, because I saw you wearing your 25th. Danny, so I'm gonna grab my Venom, just something a little different, and then of course now Chad. I
had my LA Chargers hat on all day, and I switched over to this, just knowing that Chad would have to pay me royalties if I wore it in public.
There we go. Nice.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. You got the mug.
Yeah.
I don't have a mug. I need to get a mug.
I brushed my hair, so just for this. So
this thing will kill a person. So
nice.
Heavy.
I got mail while we're on the phone.
You are definitely interrupting the flow of this.
I'm gonna open this. It's a little package,
man.
All right, I'm gonna give my answer.
Give yours, and I'll open up this package.
So for me, what makes not a good roll and write or flip and write, and the two that I can think of specifically do this, is that it's a linear game every time I play it. It goes to the same thing. I check every box. I get through, and I'm like, there's no challenge. There's no like next time I'm gonna try X, Y, Z, or this time it played way different. I went up this track. I crossed them all off. One of the things I remember that a game that I've kind of goofed around with for a while. I remember Ian Moss, John Gilmore, some of our local designers, and I took it to them and had him play it. And one of the first iterations I had, Ian was like, look, this is a lot of fun. I like what you're doing, but I finished your game. He's like, never let me finish your game. And so I liked that. Like, I look for that in games. Like, if I can check every box, I'm probably not looking to come back and do it again.
Yeah. So I got quick update on the package. I got some paints. So War Games Delivered had a deal. It was a Facebook ad, and I rarely fall for Facebook ads, but this one got me. There were choose three paints, just pay shipping, and it was actually a really good deal. Less than $6, and I got 3 random paints that I really like the colors of. Anyway,
sweet. That's the paint I use.
Yeah, I love. I just painted. Oh, I took them off the table. I just painted. Go to the One Board Family Facebook page. I just painted my horrified American Monsters.
Nice
minis. So, the thing that I struggle with some roll and writes is if you have a larger player count, if there's a lot of downtime. I think one of the things that roll and writes do really well is simultaneous choices or players taking their kind of solo turns. And when a game forces players to go around a table and you've got more than 3 or 4 people at a table, it is rough at times. If somebody at the table has AP and they're not sure what they're going to pick or what die they're going to pick, and then you're left sitting there waiting when you know what you would pick, it really slows down and hinders the game, I think. So
it's fair. I totally agree. Like, the idea is it's a game that should move fast, right? And if you lose that, it kind of hurts.
Yep. So
wow. Chad's on
calling
fire.
me out.
Chad's on.
As if my imposter syndrome wasn't bad enough.
He doesn't have interaction for a couple days, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what makes a not so good roll and write. But think about a lot of us. I thought about putting what was the first like roll and write you played, but I think the easy answer for all of us is Yahtzee, right?
Yeah,
So,
Yahtzee written down.
yeah. So I thought like, what is the first like hobby roll and write that really like struck a chord with you? Like really, like was like, wow, okay, I really like what this is doing. Like I like this type of, because there was definitely like a blow up, right? I mean, we've talked about that in board game. There's a blow up of board games that became roll and writes and got hot. But like, was there one that like early on was like, okay, all right, I'm digging this type of gameplay?
Yeah, I had two written down. The two of the earlier ones that I played, the Viva Java, the dice game, was like, it was really close to Yahtzee, right? That was like the fact that it was mostly just the score track that you were ticking, so it had a very familiar feel before there was like a million boxes to check, right? So that was kind of like one of the forefronts of the roll and write thing. But the one that really like stuck with me was Rolling America. I don't know if you played that one. There's also Rolling Japan, where it's just like the boxes, and you have to like you roll and you put one of those. You know, if it's I think it's color coded. The country is like divided by different colors in the different areas, and whatever you write, like if it's a green 5, you have to write a 5 in the green section. But after you write a number, the ones next to it have to be one lower or one higher. Otherwise, you have to put an X. And it was dead simple. I had not played anything like that, and it was just this tiny box, and it was kind of one of the eye openers to what these types of games could be.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll go next because that was mine. Was Rolling America.
Oh,
like
awesome.
that. I man, there's just something about that game that starts so like you start so positive. Like, okay, this time this game isn't going to get me. And you're optimistic and you're putting the 5 here and I got a 3 in the center. So I got some good choices. And then the game slowly crashes in on you, right? It just, breaks your heart. We still will get it out every now and then. I love it. I love playing it. I love the frustration level that it brings. I had no idea there was a Rolling Japan. So excuse me while Ryan talks while I go buy something on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
So they made Rolling Middle Earth too, and not officially, but you can get Lord of the Rings.
You can just print it out. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oops. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm on Amazon.
Yeah, go ahead and purchase it and use our affiliate link while you're.
I think I have yours up. So
for me it would probably be Quicks. So Quicks was a game that it's kind of interesting. Quicks did two things. Quicks was a game that I got my dad to really enjoy. My dad doesn't enjoy a ton of games, and he likes dice rolling games. He likes games that don't make you think too much. And Quicks was one that really hit for him. So just getting Quicks out when the family's around and playing with them and hearing that he ran up to Target and got a copy of Quicks for himself. And then awesome. We played Quicks, introduced Aaron's family to Quicks, actually during a period of time where we were grieving a family member that passed away. And I just remember, I think it was after the funeral or after the graveside service, just like not knowing what to say and not knowing what to do. And so busting out Quicks, and people just kind of came through and jumped into games and laughed and thought, and it lightened the day. You know, it was really weird. But Quicks definitely fit that one for me. That one hit really, really hard. So
nice, yeah. Quicks is a great game. I actually have that. I have that written down here as well. That was one of the earlier ones I played.
Yeah,
it's not on Amazon.
You make those purchases.
It's not on. Now I got to go hunt for this thing. It's probably out of print.
Yeah, probably. It's another game now.
That's gonna be fun. What'd you pay $50 for Roll and Write for on BGG? Well, let me tell you. All right. Moving on. Danny, we wanted to talk a little bit after this about you and about kind of what what you do in board gaming, right? For those that maybe are familiar with your games, kind of share a little bit about your journey of, getting to where you are now and kind of what you're doing now that might have something to do with the hat on your head.
Right. Yeah. I got into yeah. There you go. There's a spoiler. I got into the hobby shortly after I started playing games, and then I wanted to start designing. I discovered the Game Crafter, and they had contests, and that was kind of my entry point. So I entered a contest and won that with a game called Mob Town. That was my first. That was my foot in the door, right? So I got a publisher with that, and that kind of just like kept leading the way to the next game. So other ones that I'm kind of known for in the roll and write realm is Harvest Dice. That was another one of my earlier ones. You got a visual aid for me? Thanks. Mine are all up over here. There you go. Harvest Dice. That was my first roll and write I designed. And then some of the other games I'm known for are Ghost Love Candy we're going to talk about, Kohaku, Topiary, and the Button Shy lineup of games, the Sprawlopolis series that I designed with a couple of friends of mine, Circle the Wagons, things like that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that Topiary? So I'd played Kohaku and played Ghost Loves Candy. Sprawlopolis. We were at a board game cafe in Tennessee, my wife and I in Nashville last year for our anniversary. And we're kind of like going up and down the shelves. And I was like, go pick some things that look interesting to you. So she comes back. Topiary is one of the ones she has. I look at the box. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that did Kohaku. So I look it up and she's like, okay, let's try it. Man, did we not like absolutely love that game? And I love finding games at something like that, if I'm being very honest, I had never heard of before then.
Yeah.
And then we just put it down. It was super easy for the two of us to learn and play. It's one that's on my my short list of I need to get a copy of this. But you've got that long short list, right? And we thoroughly enjoyed it. Like we went back to that cafe one more time a couple of days later while we're still there. And she's like, hey, let's grab that game. Remember the one with the bushes? I'm like, Topiary. Yes, I'll go find it.
Yeah. So Topiary was on my Amazon wish list for a long time, just because of the visuals. I love the clean artwork and the really cool hedges. Really great job with that game. And then we actually only got to play it a couple years ago at a board game cafe. They had a copy of Topiary. We were in Jacksonville, Florida, and we grabbed, I think it was Game House, or I don't know. Anyway, we were at this board game cafe. We pulled it off the shelf and played Topiary for our very first time. And I had actually taken it off of my Amazon wish list just because I didn't get it a couple years in a row for around Christmas and birthday. So it came off my Amazon wish list. And now it's like, oh man, I should put that back on there because it was a lot of fun. And you can see, it's funny because you can see some of the thought behind Kohaku. Kohaku goes out from there and it becomes more complex and a lot of fun. It's really good. So
Kohaku was actually a response to Topiary because I play Topiary very nice, right? But I was getting feedback from people like, man, this game is cutthroat. Like you can cut people off and be mean to each other. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, you can. You don't have to be like the people who play Ticket to Ride mean. Yeah. So I intended it to be peaceful. I was like, I mean, you totally can. So Kohaku was kind of like, well, what if it started from what if I made Topiary peaceful? I meant it to be. Yeah.
That's cool.
It. Kohaku is one of the most played games in our house. Absolutely. We have a teenage daughter, and there are games she will play or that she will ask to play. Kohaku is on that very, very short list of I want to play this if we're playing a game.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Kohaku was our 2021 game of the year for One Board Family. So let's talk about Ghost Love Candy. So there's two aspects to Ghost Love Candy that we're going to talk about tonight. But first of all, thank you for making this game. This is one of my favorite Halloween games. I am a giant Halloween fan. I love all things October season. It's a lot of fun. And I found out about Ghost Love Candy, the original, when I was looking for Halloween games, and I came across the Steve Jackson game. Actually, it was a game that Steve Jackson took over because it didn't fulfill, I believe, through Kickstarter, through their original company. Steve Jackson Games bought the rights. They fulfilled it. And I reached out to Steve Jackson Games because we always do Halloween blogs with all these different board games that people can enjoy during October. And that was one of the ones I wanted to cover. Steve Jackson Games sent it to us, sent us some of the extras for it. And I fell in love with this game. Like, I love Ghost Love Candy. And you came out with Ghost Love Candy 2. Tell us about that process of like going from the original version and what is now being published by 25th Century Games.
Yeah, absolutely. So so that company that I said published my first game, Mobtown, the same ones that Ghost Love Candy 2 was one of my next earlier designs. And that, we had a successful Kickstarter, and then I don't need to go into all that, but their company went bankrupt in the process, and Steve Jackson kind of came in and saved the day, and they contacted me and they not only did they publish the game, but they got copies to the people who had backed it, free of charge.
That's
to them.
awesome.
And they had to pay for it a second time, which was great. But with Steve Jackson Games, like they make things in large quantity, that's mass market. It's kind of like this, I don't want to necessarily say lower quality, like in a mean way, but they have like that mass market feel where they try to get, more
a lot of stuff out.
stuff
Right.
like that. So they had to like pare down the grander vision. Like we had all these stretch goals unlocked and everything. And I had to work with them they pared that down to a easier to manage, smaller box.
Right.
But Chad reached out to me after we were working over at 25th Century Games. We were working on Kohaku together, and he was just asking, like, I noticed there haven't been like new prints or new editions. Like, what would it take to get that back and possibly make a second edition, a new version of that? And thankfully, Steve Jackson was willing to work with me, and I got the rights back, and we went from there. We just went back, and because this was such an earlier design, I had lots of experience from that point, so I was able to kind of go back and tweak some of the other ideas and make them more solid. Like, for example, we didn't have a 2-player variant before, or a way for 2 players to play, and now there's a great like 2-player mode in there.
Nice.
And we just there's 100 kids when there used to be 24.
Yeah,
each kid
that's amazing. Yeah,
each kid is unique, and they all have different ways that they affect the game, so it adds to the replay value. Not to mention, it was a lot of fun, like coming up with all those. Yeah, the cards have been updated to a bag of tokens in this sweet pumpkin bag.
Yeah, the pumpkin bag's amazing. So
there's a new mechanic with jump treats in there.
Yep.
So the
size of the cards also.
Yes,
the size of the cards also increased, which is awesome. So you've got some classics like the chef. So if this thing that's working, I think. I don't know. Is it still scanning my face here?
There you go.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
The chef. But then you have newer ones. Let's see if I can.
I love the way some of them desire the bad stuff. Like Chad was showing it off one of the conventions to me, and just how like one of them wants the spider rings, right, where no one else wants. Like I love that.
Abraham Lincoln collects the pennies that no one else wants.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we got lots of pop culture parodies in there.
Tons. I love it so much.
When I first got into board gaming, I did Men in Black for the Steve Jackson Games group, where you'd go out and demo their stuff. And this is one, this was awesome. a popular title, right? I was just interested in getting free Munchkin stuff, but it introduced me to other games like this. There were a Revolution was another game we got to enjoy that they did. So they had Steve Jackson has some games, had some fun stuff, but like you said, I think it kind of a lot of their good stuff could get lost in the shuffle. So I think it's really cool they're able to pull this, and bring it to 25th. As a designer, that feels like that would be a very unique thing, right? To get like a second shot at a game. Like, what did you really feel like was like a big change, or were there big changes that you feel like you made going into it the second time around?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like I had, like I said, I had planned out all these expansions, all these ways to like tweak the gameplay, and understandably we had to focus on what's the core and what can we cut, right? That was the goal previously. So being told I have a chance to make the version of that game that I always wanted is absolutely amazing. So I was able to dig up a bunch of old notes, and then I was able to see how some of those were terrible and how they can be a lot better. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I mean, I also love that I honestly, like, in hindsight, I love the fact that I had that space in between, because it let me make a lot more mistakes, so I can learn how to like make a smoother experience. So it's been amazing working on this next version. And Chad's a whole lot of fun to work with. He's super enthusiastic, and like he said, we had a lot of fun putting like little quotes on the bottom of each of those kids, just add the little flavor text.
Yeah, they're really fun, and I love that you have to play this game a couple times to see all the kids. You're not going to see all the kids in one run, and I like that a lot, because we've played this 2 or 3 times just since I've gotten it. I picked this up. I bought a copy at Southern Fried Gaming Expo, which is the first place that it was on sale. There were some physical copies there, and I have really loved the changes, some of the modifications, and actually, just transparency here. I helped playtest a little bit, and some of the suggestions that I've thrown out there you included in the rule book, which I'm like super grateful for, that we were able to like share some of the things that we saw in the original one and actually used in our review back in 2017, I think. I think
so.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Little shout out to the OBF. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm hoping somebody in this channel right now named Chad
there we go.
Gets one to Ohio.
I like Bob. Spider rings with candy equals good. Spider rings without candy, horrible person. That's Halloween math.
And just to throw that, so there are the junk treats in there. That's what we're talking about. It's the stuff that you get on Halloween that isn't candy that upsets kids when they're. And so the things that are in there are the spider rings, toothbrushes, which I think every kid at least got one toothbrush.
Oh yeah.
Pennies, which I had. I don't know how many people got pennies, but I went to a house one time that just gave me a handful of pennies.
Wow.
Thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was an accident or a joke, but I also received a ketchup packet before.
Oh,
so that's in there. There's a ketchup packet. Weird. And then the last one is a Charlie Brown reference, and it's the rocks.
Yep.
I got it.
I love it.
I got a rock.
Yep. So, update on where Ghost Love Candy 2 is at. The boat's been sitting in Savannah Harbor for over 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So, geez.
Yeah.
I'll fly down. We'll mission impossible.
Chad, if you want us to storm the boat, I'll come with you, bud. So. Ryan's been accused of piracy multiple times, but never actual piracy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been practicing. We've been practicing in so many different games. So
let's be an expert now.
So there's another component to the roll and write and Ghost Love Candy formula. In a couple weeks, Chad can give us a clearer date, but in a little bit of time, there's going to be a crowdfunding campaign for Ghost Love Candy, the roll and write, which is going to be actually 3 different roll and writes, which are really, really cool. I've only played 2 of the 3 roll and writes. Really fun, very different. They have different difficulty levels. Tell us a little about taking this card game and throwing it into a roll and write form and making it feel kind of like you're still on Halloween night trying to get the most candy. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it started with Chad just saying, like, wouldn't it be funny if we made something called Roll and Fright? Like, he was laughing at his own pun and saying, like, is this something you think we could make, like a roll and write version of this? And
that's where it came from?
We kind of had, like, a laugh. We're like, and then it was, like, over, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and I was like, hey, I might have something here. I'm not sure if you were joking or not.
Jeez.
So we kind of just went from there, and, I mean, really... This is the first time. I know it's kind of a trend lately is to make the dice version or the roll and write version
Mhm.
of a bigger game. And this is my first time trying to do that, and it's really interesting trying to figure out like what is some of the core aspects of this game that I can carry over into a roll and write. And for this game, like you said, it's collecting the candy and like using the kids' powers. So I tried to do that. So two of the three games. Just you mentioned there are 3 games, and really the whole point with that is we were trying to continue the trend of something for everybody. The game comes with ways for you to play with small children all the way up to your whole gaming group, right? And so we want to do the same thing with this roll and write. We didn't want to just make one version that was, for the people that are playing Three Sisters and Hadrian's Wall, and then, the other people that had, they played Silver and Gold, and maybe that's it, right? So we were trying to like step it up. So we've got a really simple family version. It plays kind of like advanced bingo that you can play with your kids and stuff. We're going to actually do we're going to change up the kid artwork on that. So you can kind of pick which sheet you want. So, kids are going to want, I want the one with Dracula, or I want the one with the kid that looks like Spider-Man or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we've got all the way up to the advanced one. That's the one we kind of started with. And that's got a lot of like the combos that people are used to in roll and writes now, where you're kind of like jumping around the board. The kids all have unique powers on there that affect the dice or affect the way that you collect candy. And it was really interesting to try and make another game that's like in the spirit of a different game.
That's really cool. Well, it's going to be a great project for people to jump into that as a roll and write, and then pick up a copy of Ghost Love Candy 2, celebrate the Halloween season with both of these games. It's going to be one of those that I really, really like that, there are different ways to dive into this world. It sounds weird, the Ghost Love Candy universe, but like the
multiverse.
The kids, the multiverse. The kids are really fun and cool looking and diverse. I love the fact that you put in your time to make a diverse cast of kids and characters and kids that you would see around your own neighborhood, in this kids that have elaborate costumes where they had the money, and then you got the costumes. I dressed up like a freaking hobo for 4 years in elementary school. Very offensive, but that dude's inside of here, so the hobo kid is in there, but it's just one of those things where like I love the artwork, I love the feel of the game, and it's a lot of fun to play and collect candy. Ghost Love Candy 2 is more than I needed from this game, and I'm excited to keep diving into it. So
awesome.
So apparently Rick and Ryan and Rick helped name the lighter of the 3. Just a heads up, just so everybody knows, this is actually Ghost Love Candy 2 Electric Boogaloo. Okay, I've been making the joke for over a year, and
I'm out.
Yeah,
what?
Fun.
No, you can't leave. This is half your show. It's 50% yours.
All right, we got a top 5.
Yeah. Boogaloo is the name of the family-friendly version. Yeah.
Yes.
And each of the games have a bonus section. So if you don't like puns, I guess you can rename those sections. You got a pen, so cross it out.
Just cross it out. All right, let's move into our top 5. We're going to finish the show with top 5. 5 roll and writes, but instead of our top 5, we're going to do 5 different criteria. So Isaac, what's our first criteria?
So we, instead of doing top 5 roll and writes, are best game 4. So first game, let's say a best game for a new gamer. So new can be young, new can be somebody who's maybe dipping their toes into hobby gaming. So what's a great roll and write for a new gamer? Danny is our guest. Please.
I think we've mentioned quite a few great ones already. I'm not going to mention Harvest Dice, although Harvest Dice obviously it applies to all of them.
Do it.
No, I'm gonna. You can skip it.
Okay, I'll skip it. I was just teasing, anyways. I'm gonna go with Silver and Gold for this one. If you're unfamiliar with that, it is that one would be in the flip and write genre. There you go. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't bring all my games over in a nice pile.
We never tell anybody to bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really should. Yeah.
But
We
this
just
one
want to look
has
like professionals.
this one has like cards that you dry erase on, so they're like
Yeah.
reusable, and it's basically a set of like treasure maps, and you're just trying to fill in these treasure maps using the different polyomino shapes that come off
Mhm.
a central deck. But it's so easy to teach. It's so easy to kind of like understand, like, oh, this is your grid and you're filling it in with these shapes. People get that. And I've been able to play that with, my wife, who doesn't play a lot of games, and my 7-year-old, who doesn't play too many games either. So it's been a great like introduction game for me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to go with best for new gamers, Harvest Dice. This was actually for a long time, this was my number one roll and write. Nobody could beat it. I really love the decision making in this. I love the color of the dice. The little pig, we always call them pig powers. It's a really, really fun game. And actually, this is how Danny and I got to know each other. I took photographs for this game for our blog and did a review for Harvest Dice just because I love the game so much. And I took a photo of the game coming out of my garden, coming out of the ground.
Yep.
And Danny found it and found us on Twitter and said, "Hey, can I get a picture of that? Can I get that photograph?" So I sent him the raw file. So
Awesome.
Yeah, that's now I 100% remember that, because I've got like a handful of backgrounds that cycle in every day. The background on my PC here switches, and that's one of them that comes up. Yeah, it's a great photo.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Thanks. That's how we got to know each other.
Yeah, you're right.
My best new gamer one is one I've mentioned numerous times before. It is my favorite, honestly, probably one of my favorite roll and writes. It is Tag City. Tag City is so good. It was European release, picked up by Eagle Griffin, I believe in 2020. It is a polyomino game where you take on the role of a tagger in a city, and you are the unique thing is you're rolling some dice, and the dice are going on either side of these polyomino pieces, and you're going to pick a die to pick one of those pieces, and then it's everybody takes one, everybody takes all, kind of like Cleaver. But you're finishing rows and columns before other people. I love the theme. It's got like a little spray can, a cardboard spray can as your player thing. It works. It's smooth. It's fast. No one that I've introduced it to has been like, I don't understand what's going on. Like it moves, and it's such a fun game.
So it's funny, my mother-in-law watched, I think, one episode of the Game Chat a while back, and you talked about Tag City. She watched the whole episode. She wanted to find Tag City for me last Christmas, and she could not find a copy of it. And so she was like, I wanted to get you that game that Isaac talked about. And I was like, how do you know Isaac? So,
yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Shout out to mom-in-law if she ever watches another one.
That's awesome. I'll have to look that up too. It sounds like it might be hard to get, but I have not heard of that one. I at least want to watch a review on it.
Speaking of family members, next topic is a great roll and write for your grandma. What are you going to take over to grandma's house? What are you going to sit down and play with grandpa too, if he's not watching football or yelling about the grass growing too slow? What game are you going to sit down and play with grandma? I
chose this one because my kids actually just played it with their grandma, and it went over really well. And it's called Fiber Finding. Oh. I'm sure it has another name in German. It's a Haba game, and what it is it's just this big like grid of different colors with shapes in them, right? But really, it's just the colors that matter. And you roll a handful of dice. I think it's like 5 dice, and it tells you colors. It'll say like yellow, red, blue, green, and you have to try to find connections of those colors in your map. So you have to go from red to yellow to green, but you're looking at this big grid that's just like a mix-up. Nice. And you've got this timer, so you're just trying to find as many of these shapes as you can, and depending on how big the shape is and what shape it is how many points you get.
Nice.
It was really, I'd never played anything like that. I've never played like a speed roll and write that's got like dry erase and you just play multiple rounds.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool. So I'd put that in there with new gamer or family. Like I said, my kids played it with grandma. Yeah, nice. Haba roll and write.
Grandma likes yellow.
Hanging out with grandma, we're playing Silver and Gold. So I've taught my mother, who is a grandma, how to play Silver and Gold, and she really liked it. And so Silver and Gold's easy to play, easy to understand, and people love crossing things out and finishing little cards. It's a lot of fun. So
I feel like I softball tossed this one. It's Grandma. Grandma loves bingo. You got to play Gamers Bingo with Grandma.
Oh, that was on my short list. Yeah, that's such a great game.
Super Mega Lucky Box. In this box, it plays 1 to 6 players. I have 2 games in here. So this is a 1 to 12 player version of Super Mega Lucky Box. I'm pretty sure I could fit up to 20. I could easily fit 4 of this game in here. I love getting this out with big groups. I love
it's a really good one.
And I love to play it fast. Like, all right, numbers are coming. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a fun ping game. No one plays this and goes, well, that sucked. Everybody has thoroughly enjoyed this game.
I beg to differ. My friend Blake thinks it sucks. He hates that game.
Blake, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, Blake is wrong. So
I agree. It's just out of view on my shelf over here.
I've got 2 copies. I bought the copies at like $10 a piece or $9 a piece when they were on Amazon, really low
awesome
price. I got 2 copies. I was going to give one away after playing it with a big group. I busted open a second copy and I was like, I'm keeping both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true, Chad. We have played a lot of Super Mega Lucky Box. It's a great con game. Like one of the things I found at conventions, like I used to love going to play the heavy games, but now I'm like, there's all these people and I love all these people and I want to play games with them. So can we play Green Team? Can we play Super Mega? Can we play Fuji Flush? Like how can we get everybody at the table involved?
I can't play a 3-hour game at a con anymore. That's a young man's game.
Young man's game.
I don't know.
Speaking of big groups,
other people saying that.
Our third category is that it's what is a good roll and write for a big group, one that maybe scales up to plus however many you want to play.
The nice thing is so many of these roll and write games do fall into that category. They call it the 1 to 100 category, right? The Go Sub Candy games all fall in that category. I think it's probably roll and write royalty at this point. I'm glad I said that without stuttering. I would say Welcome To is a really good one for that. Absolutely. My reason of picking that over others, honestly, because we just talked about it with the pandemic, my first exposure to it was actually playing with a larger group, like over a stream.
Mm-hmm.
And even playing in person, the fact that because it's a flip and write, I feel like, it's a little bit easier to see cards over dice. Mm-hmm. So I would kind of like lean in that direction. There's lots of good options here, but that's what I'd go with.
Welcome To is a great one.
Awesome.
I'm gonna say the follow up to this came out after Welcome To Floor Plan. Floor Plan is all about designing a house. This is in that 1 to 100 range. Floor Plan is from Deepwater Games. It is a really, really fun game. One of my favorite aspects to Floor Plan is, obviously you're trying to achieve goals. You're trying to, hit the designer's needs, the designer, interior decorator, and stuff like that. And you're trying to hit those goals while you take the die rolls. But what I love about this game is this is actually my youngest daughter's favorite roll and write, and maybe one of the top 3 games that she likes. But we will take our floor plans when we finish the game, and we will actually go on a virtual tour with other people around. So I'll take my floor plan and I'll show them, and I'll be like, as you can see here, you're going to come in the front door through the stone path and go into a room that has 42 windows. You're going to have a lot of light in that room. Behind that is a closet that has 6 doors on it. That's a lot of fun, so we go through this virtual tour and talk about how our HGTV home is a hot disaster that should be set on fire. Floor Plan is a lot of fun and can play a massive amount of people.
It's awesome. My massive one is when I have played with big groups, and that's Cartographers. Cartographers is a great everybody plays. Somebody flips the cards. Everybody else needs a map, right? Other than passing the left and right when you need to do that. I love Cartographers. We had a chance to try out some of the new maps they just threw on Kickstarter.
Nice.
I love, give me a new map, but don't add a ton of crazy stuff to it. I love when a game does just a little bit extra, and the big box is great. The best part of the big box, I don't know if you guys have the collector's edition of this, is that it has the cartographer colored pencils.
Nice.
One for each person, one for each item type. It's got the little cartographers on it, so I love it. It's such a fun little game.
Yep. Cozy Little Brown House, Welcome to gets my vote for this category. It's my one of my all-time favorite games. Yes.
Awesome.
So Welcome to I didn't put Welcome to in there because I knew Isaac had Welcome to. And I'm glad we got 3 votes for Welcome to and 1 for Floor Plan over here. So,
awesome.
But yeah. So,
thanks for joining us, Cozy
next
Little
one?
Brown House.
Yeah, Cozy Little Brown House. If you haven't followed them on Instagram, check them out. They also have a YouTube channel that's getting some more love. So their family, I can't remember where they're from, but we met at Origins because we follow each other on Instagram. It was awesome getting to meet you at Origins. So
awesome.
Yes.
So the other side of the big group is a 2-player. My wife and I love playing.
Yep.
We love playing roll and writes. So what works well for 2 players at roll and write level?
Yeah, this one was when I was thinking about this one, I thought it's kind of strange because I play a lot of them solo. What's another thing I like about roll and writes is a lot of them play solo.
Yep.
And then you go to that other extreme, which is 100. So for me, it's a repeat of what you just said, and it's a testament to how good that game is. But I think Cartographers is great with 2. I like it better than playing that one solo because they've got that element with the monsters where you have to pass your sheet.
Yeah.
So with 2 players, that's like they have a way to do it with solo, which works. But I like that you actually have another player that's affecting your board. And that's honestly how I was introduced to Cartographers. Was I just met up with a friend and we played it a couple times and it works great.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a great 2-player. My wife and I played that one a few times and thoroughly enjoy that. Mine, Cozy Little Brown House, I got to agree with you. I went with Ganz Schön Cleaver in any version of.
Yeah.
My wife loves this game. This is one of her. I made my wife's top 10 list recently, and I'm kind of curious, how accurate I am. And this was definitely on the list. She loves it. It's a fun little game. Easy to play with 2 players. I love the scale up, scale down. We've played this one and really enjoyed it. Just to, grab some coffees and let's play a little easy game.
If we were doing the one that we played the most on our phone, that would be my pick.
I've played that a ton on my phone.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great app. If you want to, that's an easy way to get into that game for sure.
For sure.
I'm going to talk about 2-player roll and write that does not get much love at all. This one is King Domino Duel. Do you know about that? Have you guys played this?
I've heard it, but I haven't played it.
I have not played it. No.
Okay. This is a strictly 2-player King Domino Duel game where players are going to roll. It's only for 2 players. You roll the dice. One person drafts 1 dice. The other person drafts 2 dice. And then you get the last dice left over. And it plays by the same rules as King Domino. You're shading different patterns and things like that in your kingdom. This is one of the best games to take to a place where you're going to play for 15 minutes while you wait for food. If it's just, we've taken this on so many date nights. I really love King Domino Duel. It doesn't get enough love. Blue Orange Games, you can probably find it pretty inexpensively. It's got a little clasp box.
The best.
I love it. It's really a lot of fun. And if you like the ease of King Domino and how it's just kind of a little puzzly, King Domino Duel's gonna do it for you in 15 minutes or less, sitting around with your favorite person. So
love it. And that brings us to our 5th and final roll and write, which is for the seasoned gamer. So you got a game group. You're saying, hey, I want to play some roll and writes. They may not be as inclined to play some of the ones we mentioned, but what is the one you sink your teeth into for a seasoned gamer?
I'm just getting into some of these bigger, heavier roll and writes. But the one, I think Matt and Ben Pinchback are they've got and then Adam Hill, they've got this great thing going with the whole loaded roll and write. So
yes.
I'm going to pick their newer one, Three Sisters, just because, there you go. I
love you've been right on Ryan's
This is exactly the game I was thinking about earlier when I was talking about graphic design. There's so much going on that board, and the art is just enough to give you the theme, but they give you plenty of room on that sheet to actually play the game. And it's such a great example of an illustrator and a graphic designer working well together. But that's just me art nerding. The game itself is actually super fun.
Yeah.
And it's like just kind of the stuff that was brought up earlier. I don't think you're ever going to go down the same path twice. You can't possibly. There's so many different branches to go through on that.
Yep.
That's
100%.
a really good one.
So good.
I got to go Three Sisters. That's why I had it out on the table. Three Sisters is my favorite. I've got Fleet the Dice game. I've got Three Sisters. I've got Motor City coming. I did a preview for that earlier this year. All three are fantastic, but I love Three Sisters because of the gardening aspect, because of just getting your hands in the dirt. Really love that one.
I just put mine on the table. It shook my table. This game is so
I could already tell what I was going to
Hadrian's Wall.
I mean, I had to go Hadrian's. Hadrian's is
so good.
It is a puzzle. If you don't dig the solo, do your own thing kind of play, this maybe isn't the game for you, but it's tight. It's good. It's got so much depth to it. Three Sisters, I think, is the step towards this. Like if you played Three Sisters and go, I could play something a little harder, try Hadrian's Wall. Yeah. If Three Sisters is too much for you, maybe stay at Three Sisters, and that's okay. Three Sisters is an amazing game, but Hadrian's is like the next step past that. It is the Lacerda roll and write, basically.
That's what I was about to say. That's exactly what I would say about that.
That's what it feels like.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's our.
Can I toss out a bonus one real quick?
Please.
Do a shout out. It's not out yet, but there was a successful Kickstarter, so it's on its way. But my friend Steven Aramini's game Flip Town is another one of these heavier roll and rides. Okay. So especially if you play a lot of solo, I think it really shines solo.
Nice.
But be on the lookout for that. It's in the process of being made. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but Flip Town's a great one for these loaded roll and rides. Yeah.
Nice. Trails of Tucana is one that Chad is recommending. So.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah. Last thing, we'll end with one thing that we've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Birdwatcher. Birdwatcher is a lot of fun. This is Renegade Game Studio, Oni Press, Oni Games. They put this one out. Beautiful artwork. It's lighter than Wingspan, but in that same vein, there's not a ton of similarities. Beautiful bird game. That's what it is. Yeah. And so, but you're basically building a journal, a scientific journal of birds that you're taking photos of. It's really fun. There's some little things that you can do to photograph other people's birds that are in their canopies to kind of take them away from them. It's really, there's some good decision making in that game. Plays in about 45 minutes, which is a weeknight game for us. So I've really enjoyed it. Published the review for that today. So
awesome.
What have you guys been playing?
I've been playing a lot of cribbage.
Okay.
That's the quick, boring answer. But my son just recently got into it. I play cribbage with grandpas on my phone a lot. It's a great app if you like cribbage. Okay. And he asked how to learn. He asked how to play it. But my other answer, my gaming answer, is I just got this recently from Kickstarter, Twin Palms.
So good.
And this is a wonderful trick-taking game. It's hard to say it's a trick-taking game. It's so different because you play things in pairs. It almost feels like this weird hybrid of I don't know what was. God, I'm trying to think of which game it is. I'm thinking of trick-taking, but kind of it's got the poker element with playing. You're playing a pair of cards, and that's what determines who has the highest rank is based on the pair. But what I also love about it too is that they built the steps into it. There's the easy mode all the way up to this really advanced mode that I haven't even tried yet with all the suits and all the combinations. But it's totally, if you're into classic card games like Hearts and Spades and your family plays things like that, I totally think it's worth it. The art is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really, really cool game. It's also on BGA.
Yeah, that's how I learned how to play it. And Christy B actually came on the show with us at the time. And I hate that I did not back the Kickstarter. I was in that weird mode of trying to make sure that I didn't back too many things, and now I regret it deeply. So,
well, I think it just came out. So I think you have a chance.
I'm gonna have to. It'll be on my Christmas list. Yeah,
it's so good, so good. I taught it to friends that backed it this week, and absolutely love it.
Nice.
Two quick things. Delicious new game from pencil.
Yes.
First, speaking of a roll and write, this is a flip and write.
Nice.
Scales
I wanna play that real bad.
1 to 100. It's very specific on the back. 100 people can play it. 101, get out of here. But
Can't do it.
it's
Can't
got
do
the
it.
same kind of feel as Three Sisters, and that you're potting some things. But there's a lot going on in this game. Like you teach it, and you're like, this doesn't seem too bad. There's a lot, and you have to be able to draw fruits and vegetables well, or you're just going to be using letters.
So Bob, not a deal for Bob. Bob can't draw fruits and vegetables.
But the game I've been playing the most, Ready Set Bet, is so
I've heard good things about this.
stupid good. I cannot, like, this is the convention.
my
Like, I
list.
really wish you would have kicked this out at Gen Con. But man, 9 people at the table yelling, hooting, hollering. You got to have a good person doing the racing, but it's a real-time live racing game. You're placing bets as fast as you can. There's side bets, there's prop bets. It's hopping. It plays really fast too. It's 4 rounds of horse racing.
That's
Plays
cool.
in probably 30 to 45 minutes. Cannot wait.
One.
Yeah, it comes out I think early October or late
Right.
October, somewhere in there. So
That's
excited.
definitely going to be a pickup for us. So
yeah, it's a good one.
All right. So we're going to let you go here. Danny, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter mainly at 3D Devine. The same thing on Board Game Geek. If you want to be friends with me on BGA and play games, I need to be friends with you guys and start playing some games. 3D Devine 2, because I forgot my login for 3D Devine and couldn't get it back. So there you go.
Love it.
Good. Very cool. One Board Family all over the place at One Board Family. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I've been helping Bob out with the TikTok, so every once in a while I'll jump in there. Just hit us up wherever on the internet. Head over to oneboardfamily.com. We got reviews. I've got a preview for a game called Age of Comics that's coming to Kickstarter next week. That's
soon,
really
yeah.
fun. Really, really dig the theme of the game a lot.
Awesome. Game Sidekicks, you can find us over on all the socials, Friendster, Yik Yak, Vine, Daily Booth. Oh wait, none of those exist anymore. Facebook, Twitter, the TikToks. I've been trying to get consistency with the TikTok, getting something out every day. So it's fun stuff. Follow us on the socials. Happy to be along in this journey with you.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. So, Danny, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you to all our contributors commenting. Thanks,
Great comments,
Chad, for
everybody.
jumping in. Thank you, Cozy Brown, the Cozy Little Brown House. Thank you, Hank, everybody who jumped into the comments. We really appreciate it. You guys make this show way better than me and Isaac can ever make it. So,
exactly.
Danny, thanks for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.